Hello, fellow Voyagers. Jess here with Odyssey Human, here today to talk about keep it simple, solid, and get results. Welcome to Odyssey Human. This is the channel where we help you hack through the jungles of consciousness so that you can discover the hidden treasures within. And believe me, there are a lot of hidden treasures inside of you. Welcome. If that sounds good, please subscribe. We'd love to have you. We had our last video go viral. Very exciting. Yay. Welcome to all the new subscribers on the channel and everyone who's been following since the beginning. We appreciate all of you and glad you're here. So today I want to talk about, what's our only goal with manifesting is to jump into the reality where whatever we want is already true. And so if you haven't already seen my video on, this is the only video you'll need to understand manifesting, check that one out because I really describe it in a very clear-cut, easy to understand way. And it's really the only video you need to understand the concept. But what I found in my own experience of manifesting is that the more simple we keep our declaration of truth, the better results we're going to get. And what do I mean by that? We keep it down to a simple phrase, one fact, one phrase. I'm going to give you an example story in just a minute, but, that could be I'm wealthy, I'm gorgeous, I'm whatever. I have, a very, very simple one fact. And as we are standing in that reality, because as we declare it and believe it and proclaim it, it's true. That's true. Because everything that we experience in our lives, in our reality, is coming through us, right? It's always us, you. It's always you. Everything you experience is going to be you. And so I find that avoiding complexity is often best. Elaborate stories, when we script and do these elaborate stories or go into our imagination and craft, all the tiny details of something that we are aiming for, that's where our mind is like, that feels like imagination and not truth, right? That's where we get into resistance because we're used to imagination being this very complex, detailed thing, right? Whereas a simple fact, one fact is not far from our current reality, right? If you think about it, one decision that you would have made differently, think about one decision if you had made differently, your life would be totally, completely different right now. I can think of literally, 1,000 desires that I could imagine or that would feel very logical for it to be one step away from my current reality, right? If I had invested in stock in a certain company, if I had said yes to that job, if I had not had that argument with whoever, if I, we can easily, our logical mind is like, oh yeah, that probably would have turned out exactly the way I wanted it with one different decision. So any reality that you're reaching for, any reality that you want to access or experience is actually only one decision away. It's closer than you think. And so in this one fact, in whatever our desire is, claiming that one fact of that we are standing in the truth of, we're reclaiming that one decision away. I was one decision away from that reality, and now I'm going to reclaim that one decision. I'm going to reclaim that. So, and how are we doing it? With stating a fact, standing in the truth of that statement, just like Chicken Little. We're going to Chicken Little this, and this is really where I've had the best results in manifesting. When I just pick one simple fact, one simple scene, and Chicken Little it. Right? Chicken Little was the sky's falling. That's it. Really easy, right? The sky is falling. Simple. It's easy. It's basic. It's just a few words, but the concept is really simple. And so, as Chicken Little is telling people, they don't believe him, but Chicken Little stands in that reality, and then that's what it becomes. And that's what you are going to do. when you chicken little things, you get results. And I want to share with you a story of how I did this and what the examples are contained in the story of what I just described. So a few months ago, I worked with a lady, let's call her Beth for privacy's sake. I really didn't enjoy working with Beth. Beth was very domineering. She was constantly trying to come into my lane, even though we were on different teams, and trying to take over elements of my job, which I felt very protective over. And I knew I was doing a really good job, and these elements of things that were happening in my lane, I was like, they don't need touched. Why are you trying to mess with them? And so I decided that I was just going to pick a new fact, right? I was going to reclaim that one decision. And that one decision was Beth was retiring. Beth was retiring. I don't know where this came from. I just picked it out of the ether. It's not like Beth was particularly of retirement age. It's not like she had there was never any mention from anyone at work that Beth was going to retire. Like this did not seem like a reality that was close by. But remember, you're only one decision away from every reality. Beth seemed, hadn't been at the company that long, so it seemed like she might be there longer. So the appearances in my 3D did not lend themselves to the logic that Beth was retiring anytime soon. However, I decided, because reality is coming through us, I kept it simple and I kept it solid. So Beth is retiring. That was my phrase. Beth is retiring. Even when Beth at work started, she would instigate things with me. She would try to take over projects. I would have to kind of stand my ground, and I would tell, the people close to me about it. I would end the story, I would complain about, oh, Beth tried to do this today, but, she's retiring, so it's okay. She's retiring. That just became my reality. And how did I know that this was a good fact to pick? How did I know that this was a good goal, a good reality to bring about? Because it made me feel good. Manifesting, and what a lot of coaches don't tell you, is manifesting is an emotional mastery tool. A lot of the tools and things we learn in manifesting are emotional mastery skills. And so how did I know this was a great reality for me, that Beth was retiring? Because it made me feel good. It made me feel good. It was simple. It was solid, and it made me feel good. And I returned to it no matter what Beth was doing, because there were some days Beth was a real thorn in my side, and I just was like, Beth is retiring. It's okay. I was able to let go of whatever had happened that day because Beth was retiring. Per me, because I am reality. I am truth. And so if it feels good, you've hit the mark. If that one simple fact feels good, if it feels good, you are there. It's probably better than what you're experiencing right now, I would guess. And for me, it was, right? It was better than the bad day I had had with Beth. That reality was much better, that she was retiring. I didn't even fully believe it. I wasn't really trying that hard. That was just my new story. That was the reality I wanted to inhabit. And so I did. I chicken littled that situation. I just was like, Beth is retiring. I told my other friends at work, Beth is retiring. I don't know whether they believe me or not. Beth is retiring. Guess what? 2 months later, Beth announced she was retiring. So I was celebrating then. Beth was retiring. And I went to her retirement party for a hot second. I popped in and I popped right back out. And the beauty of it was I didn't really see myself at that retirement party. I didn't have a complex story between that. I just knew the fact that Beth was retiring, and she did. It became my reality in 3D because I was in there chicken littling. Beth is retiring, like that, done, very unconditionally. And that, my friends, is the secret to keeping it simple, keeping it solid, so not wavering. That's your new reality. Like, that is it. That's the only reality. And it doesn't matter whether you see contrary advice in the or appearances in the 3D, because I certainly did. I just ended the story with, well, it doesn't matter because Beth is retiring, you know. So I didn't even adhere to, you know, not complaining about what Beth was doing in my current 3D reality, because I did a little bit of that, but I always returned. Remember Chicken Little. You're going to have the stamina of that little baby chick. The sky is falling. Beth is retiring, and whatever truth that you're going to stand in, because the minute you stand in that and inhabit it and you live there and that's it, point, you know, that's it. It is truth. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says. So I hope you found this helpful. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.